I'm Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. Clean up your damn room. Stand up straight with your shoulders back and listen to the Patrick Coffin Show.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. This is Patrick Coffin. Welcome to the show. Well, it's the most controversial, scandalous, outrageous, misunderstood teaching in the Catholic Church. It's also one of the most unread. It's the Encyclical Humanae Vitae, which turns 50 this week, and today's guest loved Humanae Vitae. Before loving Humanae Vitae was cool, you're going to love her, and you're going to love this episode of The Patrick Coffin Show. Coming up straight ahead. Yes, indeed. I can't wait for this. Dr. Janice Smith is the author or editor of a number of important books on ethics, including Why Humanae Vitae Was Right, Humanae Vitae, A Generation Later, Living the Truth in Love, and The Right to Privacy, with a foreword by Robert Bork. She holds the Father Michael McGivney Chair of Ethics at Sacred Heart Major Seminary in Detroit, and she's just finished editing her latest book, Why Humanae Vitae Is Still Right. Janet Smith, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Great to see you in Ottawa. I was joking at the time that we see each other about every 22 years.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
Next time they'll wheel me in.
Yeah. Well, of course, I'm only 14, so I'll be in fine fiddle. I first saw you in 1993 at the Humanae Vitae 25th, I guess, anniversary. How the years march by, you know.
That was in Omaha?
That was in Omaha. Yeah, sponsored by the great Thomas Hilders.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
right.
Well, there's just so many threads there that we could start with, and maybe we can start with the fact that the teaching of Humanae Vitae is a double-edged sword. It's not just the ancient biblical intuition and conviction that love and life belong together, that you must not thwart or undermine what God ordains as a fertile act to reduce or to eliminate babies, but you also must not produce babies without that act. So it's there's two sides. There's a B side to it, isn't there?
Yes, exactly. These things belong together. Sex, babies, love, and marriage are a unit, right? You shouldn't engage in sex unless you're prepared for babies. You're not prepared for babies until you're married, and you shouldn't be doing any of that unless you're in love. You certainly shouldn't have babies outside of marriage. And
isn't it? It's a sign of our messed up times that it's a stunning insight that sexual intercourse causes babies, because most young people believe that, well, a broken condom causes babies, or a forgotten pill does. Not true.
That's absolutely right. I mean, that's one of my lines, is that people are surprised now when they get pregnant they say, I got pregnant by accident. I said, you don't get pregnant by accident. We all know how it happens. We know the cause. We know the effect. It should be no surprise.
Do you remember when you first were smitten with this teaching? Did you come across it in university? And how did you decide, look, I'm all in here, and I really want to devote myself to articulating all the principles behind it and in the way it deserves?
Right. Well, I was a graduate student at the University of Toronto many years ago, and my friends and I were becoming very enthusiastic about our Catholic faith. And all of our fellow intellectuals in graduate school couldn't believe that smart people would be Catholics. And they bugged us about a couple teachings, for instance, the teaching on contraception. And so we decided we should read Humanae Vitae very carefully together. And at the end of reading it, we all thought, my goodness, that makes sense. It's just true. And then years later, I started doing a lot of work in the pro-life movement, and I was counseling outside of an abortion clinic, and I'd see these young women coming in, and I'm thinking, like, why are they having abortions? And I figured, well, they're having relationships that are not conducive to having a child. It's not, as you said, it's not the contraceptive that's failed. It's the relationship that has failed that would lead them to have an abortion. And so it hit me, the connection between contraception and abortion. At the same time, a lot of my friends were getting married, and they were using natural family planning, and I thought their marriages were visibly better than marriages of those who were contracepting. So I decided this was going to be my contribution to the pro-life movement, would be to defend Humanae Vitae.
Do you find that there are a fair number of pro-lifers who push back against this because they dream for a more effective contraceptive that has no or fewer health risks for women?
I've not met any. I've not met any pro-lifers that think that. I mean, people who aren't pro-life seem to think that more contraceptives will lead to fewer unwed pregnancies, to fewer abortions. But anybody that sort of got a step inside the pro-life movement just sees the connection between contraception and abortion very quickly.
Hey, this is Patrick Coffin. If you like what you see and hear and you want to see and hear more, consider joining Coffin Nation as a full member. Just click right here and find out more about what that means. Nipsey, my fedora. That's Coffin Nation, the world's largest online community of culture builders. Click right here. See you on the inside.